Hello there, welcome to Season 1, Round 18 of my F1 2012 career mode. I am Lovesbuds, and yes, it is raining in the desert. But first, a guide of the track.
This is a lap of the Abu Dhabi circuit. On the approach to the final corner, make sure you slow it all down and get a nice straight exit to see you through the start-finish line. DRS and KERS available in qualifying, remember. Into turn 1, down through the gears, into second. Watch out for the exit curb. Don't take too much of that. The AstroTurf's waiting for you on the outside. Up the hill now, turn 2 and 3, full throttle. Feel the G-force on your body as you now plummet down the hill towards turn 5. Slow it all down at the 100-meter board and aim for the cone on the left, and then launch the car over the right-hand curb. Don't worry too much about the exit traction there, because you have to slow it all back down again for the apex of turn 7. Now, first gear, watch out for the traction on the exit, not too much curb. You got this nice long straight now to optimize DRS and the KERS usage. A great overtaking opportunity coming up on race day, and one that's very hard to defend as well. 100-meter board on the right-hand side yet again. Sacrifice the exit of this corner, because you want to open up the following right-hander before the straight that leads you around the kink of turn 10. Use the DRS again and a boost of KERS to see you on this straight up into 7th gear. This is a potential overtaking spot, remember, come Sunday, but one that's a bit more tricky. Now down through the gears, into second. Sacrifice the speed on the exit, launch the car over the right, and then the left-hand curbs. And now slow it all back down again into first gear. Careful on the exit here, not to run out too far onto the AstroTurf, and then enjoy the high-speed section, this double right-hand corner that leads you back towards the hotel section. Slow it all down again into second gear and feed the car back to the right-hand side to open up turn 18. Watch out for the rear end on the exit curbs there, and then launch the car again over the left-hand curb of turn 19, close to the barrier on the right-hand side. Down one gear, flick the car to the right, now coming into the final corner. Feed the car in gently, feel the balance between understeer and oversteer, not too much on the exit curb, and use the DRS, a final boost of KERS, and that's a lap at Abu Dhabi.
So there we are, a lap of Abu Dhabi, and it is quite a long lap. Hamilton has set a 144 point something so far, and we are on our fast lap now, coming up behind someone else's car. As you can see, it's sunset. Qualifying 3 is about to end in about 3.5 minutes, but at the moment I am up on Hamilton's time, which is always good. So first things first, let's get this announcement out of the way. I did promise that I would tell everyone what team I'd be driving for next year, and that team is Mercedes. Yes, I'm moving to Mercedes next year, taking Nico Rosberg's seat, leaving Williams for the first time in my 3 seasons that I've been with them. 2 seasons in 2011 and 1 season in 2012. Thought a change of scenery would do me good, and it'd be nice for you guys to have another car to look at for once. As much as I love Williams, I feel it is time to move on from the home of Williams and the nice British team that they are. Almost doing a Lewis Hamilton, but I hadn't been at McLaren for like so many years, but still. Moving to the German team for next season, trying to get the Silver Arrows right back up the top where they left off in the 50s. But let's have a quick look at this lap time. It's actually a pretty good one, as you can see. Managed to sneak into pole in 0.2 of a second. It's an all British front row. Nico Rosberg is in 3rd, and followed by Alonso, Vettel, Kobayashi, Maldonado made it up in the top 10 again. Schumacher, Raikkonen and Felipe Massa finish off the top 10. And yes, it is raining as we start the race. I cannot believe it's raining. So I have a really good position to start in, and the rain's just gonna ruin bits of my race. Let's see if I can hold on, maybe even take the win. But most of you from seeing my old videos will have seen how badly I can be in the wet, or how badly I can do in the wet. So don't hold your breath. So but sometimes, you know, in a couple of races this season I've done okay in the wet. But this one's a special case. I don't know if it was, you know, after the patch or whatnot that causes me to not drive now on this stuff. But I think I probably could have made a decision or two earlier than I actually do. But you'll see that when the race unfolds. It's only the first lap. Seem to be doing okay on easy intermediate tyres. I didn't quite see what tyres the other people were on. I'm not sure if they were on wets or intermediates. I mean, I assume they're on intermediates because the rain is not really that heavy at the minute. It's raining, yes. The track is damp, but it's not saturated as it could be. Now, in some places it might be wetter than other places. Like this corner's a bloody dangerous corner, especially in the, well, even in the dry you can lock up and go straight on there, yet alone in the wet, and they can drive round it like it's dry anyway. So I don't really have much of a chance of getting away in that section, as you might have seen as the arrows were behind me telling me that they were right up my bottom, and they will be again in a moment, as Alonso has made his way up to third. And just as I say that, Rosberg overtakes him again into the final corner, and Alonso's got back at Rosberg. So the order at the end of lap 1 is Mr. Spuds in first, Hamilton second, and Alonso third. Let's not forget that Hamilton and Alonso are fighting in the championship for that World Drivers' title, and there's only 1 point separating them as I cut across the corner wide, go slow enough not to get a corner cutting offence, which is fine by me. Still a long way to go in this race. The track does seem like it's getting wetter. I'm just wondering if people are going to pit in for wets or if the rain's going to stop. I can't entirely remember how the weather goes in this. I know my result, but how the weather goes, we're all going to discover that one together. Because I actually raced this race probably like a month ago now. Because I've got a little back catalogue of F1 videos to put up. I've already started season 2, as some of you may have heard or known by now. Yes, I have known for a while which team I'm going for, but I was keeping you lot in suspense for a little while, if any of you were even remotely interested. But still, it's just coming down to that corner. You know, that right-hander where you can lock up. There was a lot of skid marks on the floor. So a lot of people were getting a bit fruity around those corners. As Hamilton did try and have a look there around that on my right a couple of corners ago.
The race officials have disabled DRS due to the weather conditions.
Weather conditions. As you might be able to tell, the rain is actually getting a little bit heavier. It's actually landing on the camera. That's one way of telling how heavy the rain is getting when it starts to obscure your view. So it's getting really quite wet now. And yeah, the tyres are falling off the cliff for me, even though that's not the correct term. They're losing their grip. They may as well have fallen off the cliff because, you know, they're not doing anything I want them to do, and I can't go around the corners at the speeds that the AI can. I've just noticed someone went off. That was what the flash of the yellow flag was, and they've stopped and they've retired from the race. Hence there being now 23 cars as I go wide again. I mean, once again, the weather really annoying me this time. I think it may be time to go on to wets, but I want to make sure I sort of go in the same time as the AI, but that's going to be a little bit hard considering I'm in front, so I'm the one that's going to have to make the move if I am going to, because it doesn't look like this rain's going to let off anytime soon. But I'm still flabbergasted why it is raining in Abu Dhabi. I mean, I'm not. Well, to be honest, I don't know if it does rain in Abu Dhabi. Even if it does, how the hell would it be raining now? It never rains in the Grand Prix. All the ones we've had at Abu Dhabi, it's never rained. Alonso's lost part of his front wing. Now I'm going off everywhere. I think. Well, I'm not going to go into pits this time. I'm going to try and keep with them. I think I would have gone into the pits if they went in as well. Even Maldonado's gone past me. So I can get him on the outside. Let's try not to crash into the back of Raikkonen. Take it easy. Oh, Raikkonen's gone off. Oh, Raikkonen's gone. I wasn't expecting that. I completely forgot what happened there in the race. I can tell you that much. But Spuds and Maldonado, 2 Williams cars up in the top 4. It's looking good so far, but I expect Maldonado's going to get past eventually if I keep doing what I'm doing. Going off everywhere. I swear I should have switched to wets by now. Maybe that's a mistake, but it doesn't look like the rain's easing up anytime soon. But I still don't get how they are all faster than me at some points in the track. Shouldn't their tyres be doing the same as mine? Oh, there we go. This is why. Because I'm expecting the rain to stop. So it's a very difficult decision now. Do I come in and change to wets when the weather's about to stop? I mean, you got to balance it up between, you know, going off the track so many times and actually losing time in the pits relative to the others who look like they're going to probably stay out. I mean, this is what sort of ruins my races this year in this game. But I'm sure I'll adapt to it and learn. But it is a little bit annoying. And somehow I got an illegal overtake. The eagle-eyed among you will have seen how I got an illegal overtake. I wasn't necessarily looking at the right place at the screen on screen at the time. And I do apologise for my strange commentary now and then. I get my words mixed up because I'm a bit tired this morning, as I have been at work. And yes, I'm working over Christmas as well. So my Christmas day is on Boxing Day, pretty much. Because that's my day off. When 26th and 27th, Boxing Day, and the following day are my days off for this week, and I'm right back to work just in time for the end of the month. But that's hospitality for you. And as you can see, I'm sliding across the track as usual. But unfortunately, I'll let Schumacher go. There's no way I'm going to catch up to him. I mean, the best I can do at the moment is keep people behind me by going really slow around the corners. And yeah, it's not my idea of racing, to be honest. I'm going backwards down the field. It's just my luck, though. I mean, I could have had a race win today. But, well, you never know, still might. I'm only 4th. You know, things could happen up front. It's happened before. I just hope I don't lose too much ground on them. But I could have had a win in the bag. I mean, I qualified on pole, which means I would have had the pace. I was set up well enough to be out the front. But thanks to the rain, it's sort of ruined my chances a little bit. And you see, that's the problem with that corner. You got to go in at the correct speed every time, the correct angle, which I almost did have, but because it's raining, it sort of changes things a little bit. I haven't quite found the groove as yet, because surprise, surprise, I'm not exactly used to driving around here in the wet.
The car behind is on standard revs. Car behind is running standard revs.
Now, to be fair, last time I drove in the wet round here was my young driver's test, so you know, I sort of should be used to it. But then again, that was in full wets. The intermediate tyre is definitely quite different in in terms of handling. So it's kind of uncharted territory, if you will. Don't quite know how these things are going to react sometimes, so I'm going around these corners slower than I could be, and then fast around others when I should be really quite slow. I don't know, I seem to mess it up every time. But oh well. To be honest, unless something amazing happens, it doesn't look like I'm going to get the win this time around. Still 2 more races to go. This is definitely different from my 2011 career when I got my first win in my first season at Singapore, I believe. But this year, no such luck. Best result so far has been second, and as I say, I had a really good chance of winning today, but the rain came down, as typical as it is for me. Taking it a little bit slow. I can feel the back end trying to step out a little bit, but I think this is how it's going to have to be for now. Going really slow around the 3rd sector, and as you can see on the map, there I go, sliding around as usual. And as I say, you can see on the map there's a little train forming behind me. So my engineer's being the plum, and basically he said we should be on the dry tyre, but they're also expecting 5 more minutes of rain. So what the hell am I supposed to think? Do I come in now or what? I mean, the AI have clearly pitted, so I think I'm going to have to, because this is a very strange track. It doesn't seem to dry out as nicely as the other ones, because I don't think this was designed to be a wet track at all in the game. It dries out really funny, and you don't really get much of a dry line forming. You know, 1 minute it's wet and the next it's all completely dry. So I'm just really going to have to try and get to back to the pits as quickly as possible. And it would be nice if the engineer was a bit smarter and actually suggested, you know, what sort of times I could get with a dry tyre as opposed to an intermediate tyre. And, you know, if my teammate is actually planning to go in the pits rather than telling me that he's in the pits. I mean, you could do a few more tweaks to the game to, you know, give the player a bit more information about what you can do with the tyres, what tyres you should be on. You know, rather than tell me that Pasta is now in the pits, or you should get onto the dry tyre because we're losing too much time when I've already passed the pits. As Schumacher goes past again. Yeah, right, we're not faster than anyone, to be honest. So I'm coming right into the pits now. Don't have to use both tri-compounds as it is wet weather, of course, so I'm going straight onto the options. Because otherwise I'm just going to lose too much time if I go on the primes. Options should see me to the end quite comfortably. Now I've just got to navigate this silly little pit exit. Just be careful I don't mess it up too much. I'm just a bit tentative coming out the pits as well, because it's just wondering if it's a bit wet and damp everywhere, so I can slide around. But now that it's dry, hopefully I can start catching up to people. I am down in 10th place from where I started at pole position. That's terrible. And I've got to find some way of catching right up to this pack that are just out in front here. It looks like the podium is quite out of reach, that's for sure, but I can catch up to this little train that's forming behind my teammate, or just in front of my teammate. So the race is on now for me. I can actually get my groove on now that the track has dried up. And I can hopefully put in lap after lap of good times.
Just 5 seconds separate you.
Just ignore that corner cutting, that never happened. But hopefully this train ahead will slow each other up when they're all going defensive and they're trying to overtake each other. That should slow them down a little bit, hopefully. And I went a bit too rich into that corner, that's for sure. Because you can see I'm now taking slightly more risks, a few more risks, should I say, trying to get these positions back. And I can just see on the screen there was a few little spitting bits of rain coming down, so the rain sort of thinks it's going to come back. I hope it bloody doesn't. Wouldn't surprise me though. Another shower just before the end to ruin my day even more, when it could have been so good. Because at the moment I'm only going to pick up one single point, 24 points less than I was expecting to get if it had stayed dry. But yeah, only 2 more races left with Williams after this one, and it should be refreshing to get a new car. Still going to have the blue helmet of the Spuds, and I'm going to have Nico's arms, yellow marigolds, look like washing up gloves. It's going to be a nice contrasting colours, isn't it? But yeah, the corner cutting again. It's just in my determination to catch up, which I am doing by quite a rate a lap. I seem to be getting a bit sloppy going around corners. Oh, what's happened here? Someone's gone off. That's Webber.
You're 4 places down on Pasta.
Webber is out of the race with what looks to be an engine failure of some description. So now there are 22 cars left in the race. One of the Red Bulls is out, and we're up to position 9 without even having to try. So that's another couple of points, or 2 points. 2 points, I think. I think it's 2 points. And as you can see, Alonso is leading the race. It'd be interesting to see where Hamilton is, because I want to see how far this goes, this title fight. Because if it goes right down to the wire in Brazil, oh no, that's not good. And we're back down to 10th. I think I rode the curb a little bit too much there and got on the accelerator too early. Hopefully we can get into the slipstream of Raikkonen here. We've got the DRS at least, so we can just make it to the end here and outbrake him. Just got around that corner. Bit messy on the chicane, but we're back in front of him. And unfortunately we've got to catch up to Hulkenberg again, who is however many seconds in front now. 3.1, so yeah, it could have been worse, but I could have been on the back of them by now if I didn't mess up in that first sector. Going a bit wide here as well. I'm not helping myself here, that's for sure. Alonso setting a fast lap for 146. Mine's a 147, but I haven't really had a clean lap so far. Not one that I'm proud of anyway. Definitely not up to the standard of my qualifying lap, that's for sure. Which, although admittedly isn't the best in the world, but it's good for the car I'm using and the lack of setup that I'm using. My setup is just like a couple of tweaks here and there. It's not like a proper in-depth setup that I would usually do if I was on Legend. Because, as most of you know, I do like a challenge. I don't want to, you know, make everything a walk in the park. I mean, that is just boring for me. Winning is great it is. It's amazing, but I don't want to be winning every single race in the Williams, that's for sure. Which is why I've got this difficulty setting on professional, and hopefully moving up to legend when I get into a faster car, depending on how well I do in the faster car as well. Only time will tell. Let's see what happens in Australia for Season 2. See what happens, what result I get in the Mercedes. And from there I'll do a couple of tests, see how the car feels and handles over the next couple of races like Malaysia and China. And then after that I'll see if I'll switch the difficulty back up to legend. But as I say, it depends on the results of the first few races and how good the car is, because it will also eat up the tyres as well. So I think that might be a little bit of a problem as well, especially when it rains. The tyres are dodgy at the best of times, yet alone in the wet. But as you can see, I'm sort of on the back of these two now, Hulkenberg and whoever that is in front. I didn't quite catch the name. Oh, drifting out wide a little bit there. Lost a bit of time again. Hopefully I can catch up again in this the chicane and the hairpin, and then maybe get onto the back of them on the straight. So that's Hulkenberg, and that looks like a Toro Rosso. Can't see it being anything else. Raikkonen's actually got DRS on me, and I haven't got DRS on the guys in front, so I'm going to have to use up all of my KERS here. Just to make sure I stay in front. Next, that's Ricciardo. That is a Toro Rosso up front. Don't usually see them in the top 10, that's for sure. Although Ricciardo did have a good race in India, I think. I know he was in third at one point because he was on the primes and then went on to the options. Let's see if we can make a move here on the inside. Can we do two? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We got ahead of Ricciardo as well. And no contact made either, so that was pretty good, if I do say so myself. But as I say, Ricciardo had a good good outing last time around in the Indian Grand Prix. I didn't actually see where he finished, so it must have been in top 10 surely, because he was in third at one point, as I said. But hey, we're in 7th at the moment. We've only got 2 laps to go. I would be surprised if I caught up to Button, and looks like Maldonado could finish ahead of me in this race for the first time in a little while. So unfortunately we may have to settle for 7th, which is definitely not ideal, but at least it's still some points, and I'll hopefully get to keep my place in the driver's standings, of which I am doing really quite well. I can't exactly remember which position I'm in, but I think I'm around 5th or 6th or something like that, or even 7th. Shows how good of a memory I have when it comes to points totals. But Button's got past Maldonado. Looks like he'd done that in the DRS zone. Let's see if I can catch my teammate up by the end of the race. It'd be some achievement if I did. I said it earlier in the video, I knew the result of this race, but I'm not entirely so sure now. I had a quick look at this yesterday before I did the commentary today, and I thought I knew where I finished, but I'm not entirely sure now. I seem to be catching up on them at some sort of rate, but I really don't think I'm going to be able to pass them, because there's only 1 lap left after this one, and you know, they are quite a few seconds up the road, I have to admit. That's providing I don't make any mistakes either and hand my places back to Ricciardo and Hulkenberg. And whoever else is behind that, Raikkonen. The gap is 8.5 seconds to Maldonado. I very much doubt that I'm going to catch up to them unless something goes wrong. Maybe they can. Maybe Maldonado can bash his way into Button, punt him off the circuit. Well, punt them both off the circuit, but I really don't think that's going to happen. You know, unless Maldonado has another one of those moments that he had in Australia all those months ago, where he crashed on like the second to last lap. I don't think I'm going to get up to anywhere near him to overtake him. So basically, in conclusion, this race was a bit of a flop for me because of the weather.
We're being caught by the guy behind. Push, push.
But at least I know I can catch up to people on this circuit, and I have a half decent pace. I haven't had a great lap, a best lap so far that's been up there with the best of them. But I think it's probably a bit of a case of too little too late on my part, because although I'm catching up to them now, it's not enough to, well, nowhere near enough to meet my objective, considering I was meant to win the race. But never mind, did set my fastest lap on that last lap, so hey ho. I've got my Mercedes contract to fall back on, so I'm not too disappointed. I don't even know where Rosberg is.
Job, really good job.
Yeah, it's not a good job. Really not a good job. It's okay to get back up to where I was to get 6 points. I mean, that's 5 more than I would have done if I stayed in 10th, of course. Yeah, disappointing day. Lewis Hamilton and Alonso are both on the podium, first and second. Rosberg actually managed to fall all the way down to 14th, so he was probably affected a bit worse than I was in the weather.
The Drivers' Championship.
So, and because Alonso won the race, he's now in the lead of the championship by 6 points to Lewis Hamilton, who is now on 289. Sebastian Vettel well out of the running now. Definitely a 2-horse race, and I'm in 5th place with 135 points. Probably not going to catch up to Button. Looking down the list, not much going on. Maldonado is in 13th or so. Rosberg was there somewhere. McLaren Mercedes still leading the constructors, looking like they're going to win the constructors as well, because they are 95 points ahead of Ferrari. It's nice to see them in that position. Williams on 190. I think they've just moved up to 4th there, so that's a good result. Let's see if we can hold on to that in the next couple of races. Yeah. Mercedes down in 6th. Which is okay, I guess. As I said, I do like a challenge. But anyway, here's another disappointed sequence. A failure. But anyway, join me next time for round 19, the United States of America. I'll see you then.